welcome to You Talking to Me. Is Germany the boss in the European Union? And if yes, why do the others let that happen? That's our topic today, and we will discuss it with journalists of our network. I'm very happy to welcome in the studio Magdalena Skajewska from Polski Radio. Hi, Magda.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And Matthias Strost from RTV Slovenia. Hi, Matthias.
Hello.
Since we talk about Germany, let's start with our German partner. Urte, it took a while until the top jobs in the European Union were distributed. Some claim that Germany was imposing its choices to the rest. And some also claim that Germany is imposing its economic politics to the other countries of the European Union. What's the reaction in Germany on that? Are the people proud of it?
Oh, well, you can imagine this is very different in the German news media and also in the population. And, of course, it depends on the political opinion of the commentators. On the one hand, there are those who agree with the critics of the German austerity policy, those who say, well, we harm Europe by thinking that only strict austerity measures can solve our problems, and we have to choose another way. We need growth, strategy, and investment. But on the other hand, other commentators find some of the criticism exaggerated. Well, just to take the example of France, as you know, there was a lot of trouble because of the German austerity policy. And in some German newspapers, you can read about the French frustration, about high unemployment and lack of reforms and economic stagnation. And this would rise to the question if the French criticism of the German austerity policy is, is a kind of deflective reaction which is meant to divert attention from its own unsolved problems.
Is the Polish government doing what Angela Merkel is telling him to do?
I think the government of Donald Tusk, our current prime minister, is a proof that the German-Polish relations actually play a really important role. And I think it is widely understood in the European Union that, whenever it comes to making big decisions in the EU, you have to, one way or another, consult Germany, because their view on different issues, no matter whether it's, about the, political measures or like sanctions against Russia or, ways to get out of the crisis or EU top jobs for that matter, you have to consult Germany. And I think it is widely known and widely understood also in Poland. And actually Donald Tusk, I think, paid a big attention to actually maintain good relationship with Germany.
If we take the nomination of Donald Tusk for the presidency of the Council, do you think that Angela Merkel put some pressure on Poland? Everybody knows she was very much in favor of his nomination. Or did he, first of all, he didn't want the job, then he wanted the job? Or did he take it because he's not that popular anymore in his own country?
Well, I think that the support from Angela Merkel played a huge role in his nomination. And in Polish press and Polish media, it was widely reported that actually Angela Merkel convinced him to get that job because during the first summit on the 16th of July, when, the EU top jobs were supposed to be distributed, but they were not. There was an understanding that one of the EU top jobs should go to the Central Eastern European representative, since, as I think it was also known, the nomination of Federica Mogherini as the chief of the EU diplomacy was very, very likely. Then the Eastern and Central Europe wanted to have their own candidate and their own nominate in the European Union, so that the geographical balance should also be represented, on the high post. And I think initially Donald Tusk was not that much convinced that he should be the one to take the job. But when Angela Merkel and then later on also David Cameron supported him and backed him and said that he's the right candidate, I think that made a huge difference.
Okay, Matthias, how is the eventual German dominance seen in Slovenia? Do the people care? Does it disturb somebody, like in the UK, for instance?
I wouldn't say so, because I think Angela Merkel is quite popular with Slovenians. What we Slovenians think of ourselves is Like, we are a bridge between the Balkans and Central Europe. So basically, we tend to look a bit like Germans. We sort of look up to them. One of the, it's funny, but in a way, this German culture, German cars, German industry is somewhat really appreciated in Slovenia, and so is Angela Merkel. And in the last couple of months, we've seen, let's say, German interests coming into Slovenia because we started our privatization. And the first thing that you could see, coming out of a good relation between Germany and Slovenia is that Fraport was buying Ljubljana airport, and we're sort of thinking, hoping, and sort of looking for a German partner in selling our telecom. So it's in there, We sort of look up to Germans, and Angela Merkel is sort of a person that would probably do well in Slovenian elections.
So is that the reason why the others, let's say the ones on the other side than Germany, don't stick together and do some more opposition to Germany?
I would say it's just common sense, because you can't really beat Germany. You have to, in a way, join them, but then oppose them a bit. As Magda was saying, Germany is somebody you have strong relations with, and it goes with Poland, it goes with Slovenia as well, because it's a big market. There's a lot of industry, there's a lot of opportunity, and Slovenians tend to look up to Germany and tend to see it as a partner, as an opportunity. But in a sense, we've seen somewhat a waning, let's say, influence of Germany within the last 2 years, let's say, with the election of Hollande, with the election of Renzi. We have stronger, let's say, opposition, but even this opposition is not, going to, demolish the German model, because it works. As our German colleague was saying, Germany is doing rather well, and we all want to be doing rather well.
So is the German Grand Coalition, is that a model now in the European Union? What do you think, Magda?
Oh, well, I'm not sure whether it's the model. I think for example, the economic model of Germany, that can be a model to follow. And I think, as it was said, every country economically would like to be doing like Germany, and also Poland is looking up to Germany, because also I think that was maybe one of the reasons why Donald Tusk eventually got the backing from Angela Merkel, because somewhat in the economic policy, he's somewhere in between, the north and the south. And Angela Merkel, I think, could see him as someone who could also support her strategy of austerity. But on the other hand, he also, gives hope to those countries who are against austerity, and he's supporting also those pro-growth measures that are needed as well in the current economic situations. So I think that also for Poland, economically, Germany is a huge market and a very important market that we obviously want to have good economic and political relations.
What about the Italian-French opposition, Matthias? Do you expect them to be stronger? So far they didn't really manage to build up something. Now Matteo Renzi wants a summit in October to talk about growth. What do you think? Do you expect something from that?
Well, we are in the middle of a process of forming a commission. So we have a moment in time in the European Union when nothing happens. So basically, we'll see what happens. It will be a difficult job, because they are talking about growth and jobs for quite a while. There's hardly anything European Union as such could do. It's more to do with national politics, with national, let's say, how do you build up your competition, how do you become more competitive. It's not really something the European Union can do by itself. So basically this investment-striving politics will have to get its place within this austerity, let's say, with this austerity agenda, but we'll see how far they go. It will. I mean, it really depends how Juncker will set up his commission, how he will work, because he wanted to have a strong political commission, and we'll see what that means.
And also, it will be important, I guess, who will get the the main portfolio, the economic and monetary affairs, and if indeed Moscovici is the one to get that job, that will be pretty meaningful as well. So we'll see how it will play out.
An important message, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we'll know more about that soon. We will see how Juncker's team will do. Thank you very much, Magda. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Urte, and thank you all, and see you soon on You Talking to Me.